Imagine stepping out of the glaring Indian sun and right into the cool, shadowed depths of a colossal stone sanctuary, a place built over 500 years ago. Welcome to this explainer. Today we're jumping straight into a centuries-old architectural mystery, one that beautifully bridges the gap between spirituality, raw physical science, and sheer human ingenuity. We're looking into the singing stones of India and the highly sophisticated and largely forgotten science of ancient temple acoustics. Picture a massive gathering in the ancient world. Think about it. No microphones, no speakers, absolutely no electricity. Yet in these spaces, a single, unamplified chant could travel effortlessly through huge stone halls. I mean, think about the buildings we make today. We are completely reliant on technology just to be heard across a crowded room, right? That stark reality makes the acoustic perfection of these ancient structures seem, frankly, almost impossible. So it forces us to ask this central question. How did a mere whisper travel through these vast, winding stone corridors, sometimes being heard with crystal clarity from surprisingly far away? Was this breathtaking level of acoustic control just a happy accident? The result of artistic genius just stumbling in the dark? Or are we actually looking at a highly sophisticated, deliberate science that modern society has somehow forgotten? Let's dive right into Chapter 1, the sacred force of sound. To really understand how these temples were built, we first have to understand why. You see, in ancient India, sound wasn't just a way to communicate. It was considered a sacred, tangible force. Sacred chants, mantras, and hymns, these were absolutely central to spiritual life. The core belief here was that sound actually had the physical power to influence the mind, manipulate emotions, and even shape the collective concentration of everyone in the room. Because sound held such staggering importance, temple architects simply couldn't afford to design buildings just to look magnificent. They were compelled to design buildings that sounded magnificent. The architecture literally had to honor the power of the chant. Let's put this into perspective. Think about a modern concert hall or a grand opera house. Today, acoustic engineers rely on million-dollar computer software to meticulously calculate wall angles, ceiling heights, surface materials, and exact reverberation times. Well, ancient temple builders faced the exact same acoustic challenges, but they achieved these calculations through pure architectural design. No computers, no digital models. Every single chamber, corridor, and carved stone surface was deliberately shaped to influence how sound behaved. The temple didn't just hold the music. The temple itself became the instrument. Moving on to Chapter 2, the architecture of waves. Okay, so we know the cultural why. Now let's break down the scientific how. Sound, at its core, is simply vibration. When a priest or singer chants, their vocal cords vibrate, sending physical waves through the air. And when those waves strike walls, ceilings, and floors, four distinct things happen. The sound is either absorbed, reflected, scattered, or amplified. It's like a giant invisible puzzle. The specific shape of a room dictates exactly how these reflections interact with one another, and this is the exact same physics that modern acoustic engineering relies upon today. What's truly profound here is the intentionality behind ancient Indian temple design. The builders weren't just stacking rocks, they were actively manipulating these scientific principles. They used large, flat stone surfaces to reflect sound incredibly effectively. They engineered curved spaces to intentionally direct sound to specific focal points. They calculated high ceilings to perfectly tune the reverberation, and they used long corridors to literally guide acoustic energy through the temple complex. They were masterfully orchestrating an environment where sound behaved entirely differently than it does out in the natural world. Which brings us to Chapter 3, the power of stone. Out of all the building materials available to them, why was heavy, dense stone the absolute ultimate choice for these acoustic environments? Sure, durability is an obvious factor. They obviously wanted these monuments to last for generations, but acoustics might have actually been the primary driver. Specific stones like granite and sandstone possessed a really unique trifecta of physical traits. We're talking incredible density, massive structural strength, and highly effective reflectivity. When a chorus of chants fills a chamber made of these materials, the sound waves don't just die out. Because of that extreme density, the waves bounce repeatedly and energetically across the surfaces. And that bouncing creates reverberation. That's the richness, depth, and presence given to sound as it repeatedly reflects within a chamber. Imagine yourself standing right in the center of one of these temples. Because of the perfectly calculated stone geometry, you aren't just hearing a prayer being spoken at the front of the room. The reverberation ensures you are completely surrounded by it. You are physically immersed in the vibration. It is the exact same immersive presence that sound engineers try so hard to artificially create in modern concert venues today. Now let's explore Chapter 4, the musical pillars. We've arrived at perhaps the most legendary acoustic mystery in all of India, the Vitala Temple. Inside this incredible structure, there are clusters of stone pillars that actually produce distinct musical notes when gently struck. Let that sink in for a second. We're not talking about hollowed-out wood, not cast metal bells. We are talking about solid carved rock producing musical tones. For generations, visitors have stood there in absolute awe, listening to the stones sing. So, how on earth is this physically possible? Well, scientists have studied these pillars extensively and found that several factors contribute to this song. It all relies on the specific internal structure of the rock itself, combined with hyper-precise dimensions and geometry. The ancient builders understood exactly how vibrations travel through connected sections of stone. By carving almost microscopic variations in length, thickness, and shape right into the pillars, they could dramatically alter the resonance. This is exactly how modern musical instruments are tuned. The astonishing reality is that ancient craftsmen understood how to shape solid stone with the exact precision of a master instrument maker. Now let's look at Chapter 5, Acoustic Pathways. While the musical pillars are undeniably breathtaking, the broader, more functional challenge these architects faced was communicating to the masses. Imagine a massive ceremony hundreds of years ago. A single human voice needs to reach hundreds of listeners perfectly clearly, with zero electrical amplification. And they solved this entirely naturally. They designed long halls that acted as literal acoustic pathways, naturally funneling the voice forward. They used elevated ceilings to prevent the crowd's bodies from excessively absorbing the sound. And they carefully proportioned the chambers to reduce any distortion or muddiness in the echo. These structural choices completely transformed the architecture itself into a flawless natural communication system. Which leads us to our final section, Chapter 6, Ancient Wisdom for Modern Architects. You might be wondering, why does a 500-year-old temple matter to a 21st century engineer? Well, modern acoustic design relies incredibly heavily on expensive computer simulations and massive technological intervention. We had speakers, dampeners, and electrical grids just to force a room to sound good. But as sustainable design becomes increasingly urgent today, architects are actually looking back. They're studying these ancient structures to learn how to work naturally with physical laws, rather than constantly fighting against them with technology. Buildings that naturally manage sound are sustainable, they're efficient, and they're deeply inspiring. It just proves that true innovation isn't always something brand new. Sometimes it's ancient wisdom just waiting to be rediscovered. It leaves us with a really profound realization. The temples of ancient India were more than monuments. They were laboratories of sound. These were spaces where mathematics, architecture, profound craftsmanship, and the deeply human experience all converged in perfect harmony. Their walls still echo with ingenuity, forcing us to realize just how much we have yet to learn from the past. So perhaps the greatest mystery isn't just how these temples were built, but rather how much wisdom do their stones still contain? Thank you for exploring this fascinating topic with us today. If you enjoyed this explainer and want to uncover more forgotten history, please subscribe and follow along. See you on the next one.